JoJo Ackermann. This is my 21st year tattooing, and I'm working now at Eternal Art Tattoo in Santa Clarita, California. It's probably just a bold traditional style tattooing. I like tattoos with outlines. I like them black and gray with outlines, and I like them in color with outlines, both ways. You know, I really like the Americana and Japanese styles of tattooing. I just like anything that has like a good solid foundation to it. That's the style I like to work with. Probably somebody who's good, getting a large piece, about 3 to 4 hours. Where has a pretty good idea of what they want to do. It gives me a little bit of freedom to share my knowledge with them, and is so that we can like communicate back and forth on the idea, come to a good conclusion on the design together. I think that's the ideal client. I'm not a real like poke and stick kind of guy. I like to make money. I'm not trying to say I don't want to work, but my ideal client would be somebody that would be kind of more into like I guess my vision of how I can help them create what they want to get, unless they're already coming to me with all the knowledge, And I've learned from them, and I have learned from a lot of my clients. So, as far as artists go, for my entire life, just trying to do art and trying to be an artist, I think the two artists that inspired me the most in my younger years before tattooing was I liked a guy named Rich Sim, who was a junior college guy who used to teach ceramics at the school I went to, and he was also into color and design, and he did a lot of other things that were with color theory. And he was just a real far out, like an old hippie dude from the 60s, and he spent a lot of time up in the Bay Area. And he turned me on to spider web and Annie Sprinkle and stuff, really before I even really knew who those people were and what was going on with them and stuff. And so he was a real big influence on me, Rich Sim was. And I really liked Tom Hatton, who used to host a Popeye cartoon when I was a kid, and he used to draw on the show, and he was left-handed and I'm left-handed, and I used to get a lot of influence from him. He would do these things, kids would mail in these scribbles, and he would take the scribble and make a picture out of it, and I always thought that was the coolest thing. So I'd go to school and make all my friends make me scribbles, and I'd try to make pictures out of the scribbles.
No way.
It's a big influence, but I think as far as getting into the tattooing, it would definitely be Ed Hardy, be my biggest influence. It probably still is. Josh Arman from the Aloha Monkey in Minnesota. That guy's just hands down a solid tattooer and a great person. And I just think he's got all the right tools to do that kind of work. He's a good guy. I think Junie Salmon at the Diamond Club in San Francisco. She's definitely one of the hardest working ladies, and I think that a lot of young female tattooers really look up to her, but for some reason I think Junie should be getting a lot more attention than she's getting. She's kind of pioneered a lot of the female tattooing, being who she is. And she's a real workhorse, man. She puts down a lot of hours in the shop. I work side by side by her, and she really is inspirational to a guy like myself as well. And anyone at the Diamond Club for that matter, to be honest. Brian Kaneko and Kevin Polito, and Bill's just a great guy. I love those people. So, but Junie is definitely one of those artists I think could definitely use a shout out, and deserves it. If you were young and you wanted to ask me about tattooing, I wouldn't give you any advice except probably go get a job somewhere for a couple of years, or go to school longer. Try and figure out this whole life thing before you jump into tattooing, because it's really overpopulated at the moment. I just think that it's like guys like myself and a few others that are lucky enough to have gotten in with the years behind us, or we're making it look easy because we got the experience behind us. But I think that the guys that are already involved in tattooing or coming into it are the only advice I can give you is just advice I was given was just keep your head down on your work, keep your mouth shut, keep your ears open, and just try to listen to the older guys, because I feel like a lot of the older guys that have the good advice are they're not getting the respect they deserve from certain people, because they're being treated as if they're giving back. They're picking on somebody instead of giving criticism. And I have a theory on new tattooers. I think everybody should just stop apprenticing people for like 10 or 15 years and just let everybody who's in it right now be able to make a living at it, because I feel like we're going to run out of clients, and there's going to be more clients doing tattoos than there's going to be tattooers doing them at some point. The most positive things I can think of happening in tattooing right now are these enormous growth spurts that I keep seeing happening. It's really hard because the way I was taught how to tattoo and the way I apply myself to my job, I feel like I'm still kind of a few steps behind, and I'm still trying to catch up to those that I look up to. But it's funny because like a kid will come in with 2 or 3 years of experience and do something that flips me on my ear, and I got to get back and figure out what, you know. It's really positive. It's a real. I like the challenge, and I like the challenge of trying to step up and just try to see what's. I mean, there's so many people. I mean, with the growth of tattooing, the people that are doing all this tattooing these days, there's a lot of young tattooers that are pushing the envelope a little bit, and especially in the traditional aspect of tattooing, you know, bold, solid. And especially in design layouts and things like that. I think it's great. I've always been an advocate for educating the public. I always feel like I'm spending a lot of time with my clients just talking about things that they should be looking for when they're getting tattooed, because I still feel like even though this is 2013, people are still getting tattooed out of someone's garage. It's like when I started getting tattooed, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have all this stuff out there, and it's like people are still like mistaking information for knowledge just because they're reading about it online, and then they're going and they're getting physically tattooed and getting mangled, and then they're learning the hard way when all the information is there. It's like you don't have to hunt for it too much. Just hit the button and type in some names or some catchwords or whatever. And at least if you live somewhere and you want to get tattooed by someone who lives by you, do your homework. You know, it's really important to educate them once they're there. I mean, really the best business cards are the tattoos. If that doesn't educate a person to having a good tattoo next to a bad one, I don't know. You show them a horse, they'll tell you it's a cow. You know? Some people just can't get through them. It's one of those things I think like every day I try to practice giving back to tattooing, because I feel like if you give respect and you respect tattooing as I treat tattooing almost as a religion in a way, where it's like I don't want to disrespect tattooing, so something I might do that might seem like a selfish act or something that's coming sideways into it, you know, as far as like maybe I could charge way more for this, or maybe I could take a shortcut on this design and get this tattoo done quicker, but they don't see me on the copy machine, shrink it, or whatever. You know, all these things are like, I get back to tattooing by not doing that, by giving back, giving respect to the person who taught me how to tattoo, by not opening a shop in his town, by just doing things that I know certain people just don't understand how it works to get back to tattooing. The guy teaches you how to tattoo and brings you up in the business. I worked for Mike I worked in the same room with him for 15 years. There was no way I was going to open up a shop in his town or go tattoo, you know, somewhere else in town. He's the guy who brought me in. And I think you can get back to tattooing by just figuring out how to respect people that got respect coming to them in a way, you know?